Welcome to First Congregational United Church of Christ, Boulder. This is the audio version of the weekly devotional. We hope you will tune in every week to listen to the latest offering written by a member of our congregation. Also, feel free to check out our YouTube channel to watch First Cong's Sunday church services. Thank you.
Being With, written by me, Margot Pickett. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. John 1, verse 14. This Advent, as I ponder the mystery of God taking on flesh to dwell among us and what it means for me and the church, I thought of an article by Sam Wells, vicar of St. Martin in the Fields in London. Sam has an intriguing way of looking at Jesus' life and how that might inform the shape of our ministries with our neighbors who are poor or disadvantaged. Using the example of seeing a lot of homeless people on the street, he suggests 4 potential responses. One is, we might decide to work for these neighbors by joining the board of a homeless shelter or daycare center that helps with those needing shelter. A second option, which Wells calls being for, would be to go home and channel our concern by writing an editorial about using the term people who are unhoused instead of the homeless, and reminding our readers about the huge holes in our social safety net. A third response might be to talk to the person and explore with them reasons why they're living on the street and ensure that they know where they can find resources. Free health clinics or drop-in centers that offer training and career advice. We might even take them to one of these. Wells calls this working with. The fourth option is to simply sit down with the person and be with them. Exchange names, have a cup of coffee, ask what it's like to spend the night outside, or talk about the weather or football or whatever else seems to interest them. Wells identifies this as being with. None of these is a bad way to respond, but Wells wants us to see that 2 of them, working for and being for people, means that we see ourselves as separate from them. They have problems, or maybe even are the problem, and we want to solve problems, to fix them. That seems admirable. But neither of these approaches requires having any kind of serious interaction with the person, or to consider that they may see life differently, or to entertain the idea that they could and should have a role in their own solutions or redemption. The other 2 options, working with and being with, presuppose genuine interaction with the homeless person and a recognition that the person themselves must be at the heart of whatever happens next. These 2 options are often demanding, time-consuming, and require a degree of humility in recognizing that we don't necessarily have the solutions to other people's problems. We might not even realize what they see as their biggest problem or need. We would have to spend time with them before we could really know and understand. Sam Wells arrived at his ideas about ministry by studying the life of Jesus. In short, he points out that of the 33 years that Jesus was on earth, he spent only 3 of them in direct ministry, in the calling training, and sending out of disciples, what he calls the working with part, and even less time in the saving process, the working for part of passion, death, and resurrection. All that amounts to less than 10% of Jesus' life. On the other hand, Jesus spent 30 years, or 90% of his life, in obscurity in Nazareth, just being with people. Wells sees in those numbers the fundamental purpose of God's incarnation, to be with us, not primarily to rescue us or even empower us, but simply to share our existence, to enjoy our hopes and delights, and experience our fears and griefs. As we celebrate this incredible Christmas mystery, may we find new ways to be with our neighbors, all our neighbors, and share in each other's hopes and fears and pain and joys. Amen.